Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. In the last episode, Camille defeated Harry once and for all. He is no longer in charge of the Enforcers, and in fact, he is now in the dungeons awaiting trial. It seems like a pretty happy ending, and the story is skipping forward 3 months. What has happened to Camille and August in this time? I wake to warm toes pressed against my calves, and an arm slung over my bare waist. Long fingers twitching against my side. A nice opening for the final chapter. I'm very excited for this. Bliss is what this is. And it's mine. One I get to live every single day for the rest of forever. August's eyelids dance in their dreams, and they seem to sleep so much better with me around. Sometimes they even get a full 8 hours. Sometimes, yeah, I was gonna say, Camille, are you helping or hindering with those 8 hours? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Sunlight streams through expensive curtains, dust motes swirling over the bed, and I smile.
What are you grinning at?
Everything. I look down at where they're resting their head against my shoulder and press a kiss to their forehead. They smell like home. Just thinking about how lucky I am. August yawns and stretches their long limbs, nuzzling a little closer to press a kiss to the curve of my jaw.
You and I both. But today is important, so get up.
I laugh, groaning in distress. Obviously, romance isn't going to get me off that easily. Don't you want to stay like this for a little longer? August sits up, much to my distress, their warmth stolen. Their robe falls off their shoulder, and I wonder if the universe is trying to tempt me. Then they give me that look, the one that sets my hairs standing on end. Get up. August is extra bossy when you live with them. I like it. Hey, nice, Camille. Today is a big day for both of us, which is probably why they have an extra side of sass. Today is the day we both officially become Lieutenant General. Oh! Okay, so not only is August keeping their position, it's now being shared. It's no longer the Enforcers have all control and then Hunters are kind of secondary. No. You have an Enforcer and a Hunter as Lieutenant General. I like that. I really like that. Me of the Hunters. A new position dreamed up by August, Piper and I. And August of, well, of everything, of Escria. I couldn't be prouder. I can tell that they're nervous to have the weight of the world upon their shoulders, but they try their hardest not to show it. Instead, they take a seat at their desk, just as they do every morning, opening their diary and writing, smiling to themselves as they do so. I leave them to it, fussing in the closet to grab some clothes and a towel. Camille? I pause, turning to face them before I push open the bathroom door. Yes? I watch the bob of their throat as they swallow, their demeanour shifting, their voice strangely timid when they next speak. Are you afraid? Just a little, not at all, terrified. Ooh. I don't know, I'm drawn to not at all. I think Camille, she's gone through this experience, she's come out the other side, and I think She has everything she ever wanted. She has a home. She has a wonderful partner in August. She has more equality for the hunters. Everything is coming up roses for her. She has endured this trial by fire. You know, the whole incident with Harry and all of that. Not just the chimera and, you know, the deaths, but also Harry is my superior and I'm going up against him. Can I really justify that? Like, that ordeal by fire. And she's come out the other side brighter, bolder. And as long as August is there with her, I don't think she's terrified in the slightest. Strangely, I'm not. I'm just excited to start, to make the changes we really want to make. August looks proud as they gaze over at me. Are you? They shake their head, loose curls bouncing about their cheeks.
Not anymore, no. You're going to be incredible.
As are you. A moment of silence passes between us, and I can't help but stare. I think of how far we've come, of all the things left behind, of how much I love them. I set my clothes aside and head for them. Oh, is this another sex scene? I'm rather surprised that there was only one, and this is the last chapter. I'm like, if something is gonna happen, it has to happen now. Yes. I grab their chair and turn them until they're facing me, taking their chin between my fingers. I stare them down, studying them. The flush that paints their cheeks darkens under my heavy gaze, their eyes shifting from blue to violet, the slightest sparkle to them. Then I kiss them, sinking my hands into soft hair and letting the strands snarl around my fingertips. They make a quiet, relieved noise against my lips, opening their mouth to me, our tongues slick and hot as they find each other. August whispers my name between kisses, and their head falls to the side when I kiss along their jaw, down the column of their throat, over the sharp relief of their collarbones. Oh my god! Holy shit! I sink to my knees, ready to worship them, to pray at their altar, but they growl. Is it a sexy growl? When I stop and look up at them, they're smirking.
We don't have time, as much as I do love to see you on your knees.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm calm. Everything's fine. I slide my hands up along the silk-smooth skin of their thighs. What is that? Game, you can't do that to me. Game, what? Another growl.
Curse you.
I laugh at the sorry look they throw me. They're torn between wanting to let me make them feel as good as they know I can and doing the right thing and being on time. I know punctuality will always win, but how about we kill two birds with one stone, Lieutenant? A compromise. I offer them my hand, tipping my head towards the bathroom. As a hunter, it's imperative that I ensure I'm able to multitask. Oh, is that what you're calling it now, Camille? August's brows climb towards their hairline, and for a moment I think they might scold me, but they grin instead.
I'm nothing if not fully supportive of your improvement. Lead the way.
Yes! That's a good line. Okay, we're skipping ahead. Okay, good stuff. Though my head is relatively clear, I decide to go for a little walk. I've been back to the scene of my clash with Harry a few times now, mainly because I hope that I might get to speak to James again. Or maybe just... Oh, excuse me, I misread that. Or maybe just have a sign that he's still here, that he's okay. I think of him often, and I believe he was there with me that night. A lingering presence that pushed me to win, to not give up. I still can't help but wonder what he thinks of Harry now. Was he really there in that cell, talking to him on that day? Or maybe he's finally passed over from whatever in-between he was stuck in. I hope. It's summer in Lunaris now, but there's still a chill in the air and the grass is crisp beneath my boots as I walk into the clearing. Maybe it's just the passing of seasons, but it feels like life is breathing back into this small town. Everything feels easier. Harry was taken to... How the hell am I meant to be pronouncing that? Harry was taken to Thirius not long after we told him of his fate. I felt a strange sense of unease watching him leave, wondering how deep the corruption ran within our ranks, but it feels good to not have his presence lingering right beneath our feet. I'm not sure what they'll decide to do with him, but I did my part, and I'll offer more information if required. The thought of seeing him again makes my stomach churn. I take a deep breath, crouching down to press my fingers to the still scorched earth. Apparently things don't grow back if they've been touched by August magic. I decide that this is the last time I'll come here. It feels freeing. On my way to visit Ezra, I decide to stop by the Ibex to check in with our favourite creepy duo. Aurora has laid low since Harry's downfall. She's probably thoroughly disappointed that I didn't succumb to his nefarious plan and turn into an unidentifiable monstrosity. Maybe she would have thought it charming, or maybe even wanted to date me. Not at all strange or unnerving. I walk towards the dice, the air a little warmer here than I remember, the sun shining through the cracked windows and illuminating the lectern. There stands Armoros, as coy as ever and quite obviously making a point to avoid my eye contact in the hope that I'll not notice him, I assume. Hunter Abeline. Hello, Armoros. He takes a deep breath and steps into the aisle, his hands clasped politely in front of him. Can I help you with anything? I shrug, not really knowing why I'm here. I was just passing by. Is Aurora about? His mouth twists, his pale blue eyes darting to the side. Considering his sister is so very good at not giving anything away, Armoros has absolutely no subtlety about him. She left. Oh, okay. Left? Left where? He tilts his head, making eye contact. Left Lunaris. I see. Any particular reason? He sighs and gestures for me to follow him. We sit in the pews, in the front row, and Armoros leans back, tipping his head and gazing up at the domed ceiling. I imagine it was so beautiful here once. Then he sits up, fixing his jacket and frowning, twisting slightly to face me. I've dutifully followed my sister my whole life, you know. We lost our parents to vampires at 14, but even before then, Aurora was fascinated by creatures. She would sneak out at night and seek them out in the graveyard behind our estate. I began to lose count of how many times I saved her, always dragging her out of the way of claws or teeth, so they wouldn't again, I'm going off nobility, but they must have been rich if they had an estate. I'm finding it interesting that we're kind of getting their backstory in the final episode. They didn't try to kill you, your parents. He shakes his head, looking down at his hands where they rest in his lap. They didn't get the chance. Hunters came not long after they rose from their graves. Aurora was there. She saw everything. She truly believed that they wouldn't have harmed her. Oh. I didn't put two and two together then. I was thinking, that's an odd thing. Why would their parents have killed them? No. Okay, they were killed by vampires, but not killed. They were turned. Aurora thought, oh, Mummy and Daddy won't possibly hurt me. And then Hunters were like, not today. Okay, well that explains a lot. Okay, it's good that, you know, the game is finally revealing that. I was pretty curious about why Aurora was the way that she was. Okay, this perfectly explains that. So that's where Aurora's resentment? What the hell? That's not even a word. So that's where Aurora's resentment for us comes from. I almost pity her. Almost. You never seem to be on board with her beliefs. Why continue to follow her? Armoros laughs. It's a pleasant sound, and he looks like a different man. Lighter, somehow. I've never had anyone else. I love my sister, Camille. Despite her eccentricities, I never wanted any harm to come to her. I am a patient man, and I would follow her to hell and back if required. But... He laughs again. Ah, yes. But I've always wanted my own life. I have that now, with Elaine. His pale cheeks turn bright pink the second her name leaves his lips. It's adorable. You're in love with her. He nods, his mouth curling into a soft smile. I'm going to ask her to marry me. Oh, I get it. Everything's being wrapped up. This is lovely. I'm going to ask Satan's daughter to marry me. I told my sister and she fled town. I can't help but laugh, but I feel impossibly rude the second the noise erupts. I cover my mouth with my hand, but Armoros is laughing too. You'd think she'd be thrilled to have the Princess of the Hells as her sister-in-law, wouldn't you? You would, yes, but then my sister has always been full of surprises. She'll be back, though. We've never been apart more than a day or two at most. I think she's just reassessing her life and her choices. Hopefully. Well, I'm happy for you, Armoros. Just please don't start trying to terrorize our nice, newly peaceful town, okay? He blushes again, nodding as if I wasn't joking. Well, I kind of wasn't, I guess. I swear it. We both turn at the sound of the entrance doors creaking open, and there stands Elaine, silhouetted by sunlight. I look at Armoros, and the way his face lights up at the way he... Oh, excuse me. I look at Armoros, and the way his face lights up, at the way he quickly stands and brushes non-existent dust from his trousers and tucks his blonde hair behind his ears. Camille, it's lovely to see you. The demon offers me a curtsy and smiles sweetly, her brown eyes flickering curiously between Armoros and me. She must sense his mood and places a delicate hand upon his arm, which he immediately covers with his own. Where is Aurora, Army? Oh, well... I decide that's my cue to give them some privacy. The news that Aurora fled will be startling, but I imagine his proposition will be even more so. I have to go. I need to prepare for tonight. Armoros nods in silent thanks. I wish you well. Do stop by any time, won't you? An olive branch. Maybe even the start of a new relationship between us and whatever is left of the Ibeck. I'm interested to see what it will become under Armoros's lead. Or if it will become anything at all. If it doesn't, I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, if he just wants to go off and live his life with Elaine, good for him. Goodbye, and congratulations. Omen tells me that you're transforming later. New beginnings and forms are always wonderful. I stifle a smile, assuming that both she and Omen still have the wrong idea about what this ceremony entails. I do hope he isn't disappointed when I don't sprout wings. Thank you, Elaine. Armoros? I feel their eyes upon me as I leave, though for the very first time I feel it isn't out of scrutiny, but likely for the polite peace they need before excited anxiety blooms between two lovers. When I step into the street, Omen immediately appears, whipping round to face me, his movement so sharp I have to step back and raise my hands warily. I have no doubt he would never hurt me, but still. Not that it takes words or even my senses to see the demon prince is well rattled. There is a sharp pinch to Omen's brow, and flame wisps trail at his hair. Noticing me staring, though, some of that fades away. Omen smiles sheepishly. Sorry. A respectful distance away, Alcar... I presume that should be snorts, rather than shorts. A respectful distance away, Alcar snorts and straightens from where he's been leaning against a wall. He gingerly pats Omen on the back. It's fine, are you alright? Part of me wonders if it's another earth-shattering problem about to roll into town, and I'm definitely not fucking ready for that. It would certainly be poetic to have my promotion crashed right here, right now, but I don't want to get caught between the next big thing and August's rage if the ceremony is postponed. My unease must have been evident, because even as Omen opens his mouth to answer, Alcar laughs. Elaine's getting married. What? Armoros plans to do that thing mortals do. Propose. Yes. Oh, that. It occurs to me then that maybe Elaine had been speaking to Omen about it before she arrived at the Ibeck. Clearly, he's not half as excited about the prospect as either Armoros or his sister. Omen wrings his hands together, and I'm not sure how I feel when I realise he's more worried than angry. She'll say yes. This is a very exciting thing for her, I'm sure, to enter a sort of contract with a human. But humans are not good with promises. Not to say that you're not, Camille. Behind him, Alcar rolls his eyes, fondly, and shakes his head. He places a hand on Omen's shoulder, reassuringly, and I do the same on the other shoulder. Elaine is in good hands, Omen. Good, careful hands and heart. I haven't forgotten the sliver of her true powers she permitted me to glimpse in the Ibeck that day. But I have a feeling Armoros knows exactly what he's dealing with. Armoros is no fool and would never undervalue an oath, or a pact. In fact, I'm sure he's well aware of what he's getting into. Trust me, I've interrogated him enough to know. Besides, it would be unlike Elaine to involve herself with someone who is even remotely ignorant, yes? Omen sighs, but then he gives me an inquisitive look. You and Elaine have talked much, then? In a sense, she had thoughts that she shared with me. Of course, it isn't her I worry for. She is capable and, as you said, not likely to care about ignorant mortals. I nod sagely, though if I must confess, it's nice to know that after everything, Omen seems genuinely concerned for Armoros's well-being. That he seems genuinely concerned for humans, period. I'm sorry. It's a big shaken. He glances at Alcar uncertainly, who purses his lips in thought. Big shocker. Yes. But don't mistake my alarm for unhappiness or disapproving. Maybe this is the best way. Elaine and I shared many things. Our histories, our lives, our souls once. But it's rare for her to engage with mortals as I do. Omen frowns at me, inclining his head. But I take it you'll watch them. Yes. There's little use lying about it. Shrewd as it is to say, I'm glad that the Princess of Hells decided to pick a man right under our eyes to involve herself with. And not just in our own defense. We live by our blades, but living is so much more than killing and dying. This peace we forged together, I want to preserve it. Camille will be watching all of us. And honestly, I think you've got your work cut out for you, Lieutenant General. I'm not Lieutenant General yet.
In a few hours you will be. And I'm glad it's you. After all, imagine what it would have been like if Piper got it instead. Ugh.
Piper is a perfectly capable lady. Now that's a thought, though I'm sure you're glad that isn't the case. She'd have done fine. She cares about this town and its stupid problems more than she makes it sound like. And we'd all have been here anyway, huh? Alcar nudges Omen, and the demon blinks and shudders as though waking from a dream. There's a shift in the air around him that I notice. The same sense of movement like when somebody snatches back their hand. You were talking with Elaine? Yes. He sighs and wrings his hands together again. She wants my thoughts on things. I need to talk to her as soon as possible. Immediately. He stares into the distance, then clasps his hand over Alcar's, still resting it on his shoulder after all this time, and slips away. I will see you later, okay? He sketches a short but graceful bow, then walks briskly to the nearest alleyway. I shake my head as his presence retreats with supernatural speed. As soon as he's gone, Alcar chuckles. Betcha anything Elaine's going to rope him into helping her pick colour themes for the wedding. Good for her. And my entire department will have a meeting tomorrow on how to handle this goddamned, beloved, miraculous town chocked full with wonders such as not one, but two powerful demons among other things. One of whom is going to get married to a human, one that once helmed a cult against our kind. Fucking Lunaris. I can imagine how not happy August will be to hear about it, but what can you do? What can a Lieutenant General do, indeed? I look up to see Alcar watching me. His smirk only widens into a grin, though, and he inclines his head, wolf ears twitching. Get going, before Willenheim tears down half the town looking for you for being 10 minutes late. Oh, most certainly. See you later, Alcar. Aye, aye, General. Alcar walks backwards until he too disappears the way Omen went, giving me one last shit-eating grin and that ever-endearing half-arsed wave. Ezra's shop is busy, a line of townsfolk impatiently waiting outside. I decide to sneak in the back door to avoid unavoidable conversations. In the kitchen, I find Finn and Alcar. Arm wrestling? Alcar, we were just with you, dude. Jinx, Camille. I literally just saw you? Alcar quickly turns his head and frowns at me.
And what about it?
The perfect response. How did you get here so fast? He ignores me, concentrating too hard on making sure Finn doesn't snap his arm off, I assume. I roll my eyes and pull up a chair, smirking as I watch Alcar's arm shake. Finn quirks one of those dark brows at me and winks. He always insists I use my prosthetic. Silly of him, don't you think? Alcar growls, his face turning beet red with the effort. You know what? Considering this is the last chapter, I think I'm just going to do the whole thing in one sitting. Shut up, Mosquito Man. I'd win in a second if you used your normal one. Finn and I share a knowing look seconds before he slams Alcar's fist into the table, the fine china upon it clinking loudly with the force. There might even be a dent in the wood from that impact. 4-0. Wanna go again? He wiggles his iron fingers, the magic in them flickering teasingly. Then Ezra appears, his arms folded across his chest, and I don't think I've ever seen Finn move so fast.
Hey, what have I told you two about doing that in here?
Go ruin the furniture in the tavern.
They won't let us.
Oh, really? I do wonder why. He pointedly looks at the ridge in his lovely little dining table, then back between the wolf and the vampire.
No more. Don't you have some important vampire business to attend to? And Alcar, well, I don't know what you could possibly have to do, actually.
Alcar huffs and puffs, sliding down in his chair and crossing his arms. Finn sidles up to Ezra, grinning as he reaches for his face.
Angel, I was just keeping him out of trouble.
Ezra narrows his eyes at him, but his body language betrays him as he greedily leans into the vampire's touch.
You're both as bad as each other.
And you're both adorable. Finn presses a kiss to his cheek, and Ezra can no longer stifle his smile. He turns his face and lets Finn capture his lips in a quick kiss. Alcar groans, making loud retching noises as he stands, his chair scraping across the tiled floor.
I'm definitely fucking going if they're doing that.
Alcar! Leave them alone! They're beautiful! How dare! Finn throws him a deathly glare that makes him wither as I stand to address Ezra. It seems busy. Do you need any help? He quickly shakes his head. No, you have enough going on today. Go, I'll be fine. He gives Alcar one final cursory glance before he parts the lavender curtain and disappears. Don't you two actually have somewhere better to be? They look at each other and shrug at exactly the same time, Alcar waltzing over and prodding Finn's chest with his thumb.
Mr. Walking Combustible here can't go to the wolf until the sun goes down, can he? So no. Clearly I need better friends. Less flammable ones who don't ruin my drinking time.
Finn swats him away and growls, which only seems to egg Alcar on. I actually do have somewhere to be. So sorry, but I can't babysit you.
Ah, you're as boring as you are old.
Ooh. His tail swishes behind him as he makes for the door, sending Finn scrambling into the corner, away from the sunlight that streams through the gap. Later. Prat. I tilt my head and grin at him. Do you actually have somewhere to be? He smiles.
No, I was just going to go home and find something fancy to wear for your special moment.
Oh. Will it have buttons?
Absolutely not.
After Ezra's, I headed home to get changed into my new uniform. I've never had to wear one before, and I suppose I don't know. And I suppose I don't now. But I wanted to show people who I am and what I do. To show them that I'm here to protect them and that I am proud to do so. August decided to redesign our sash. It's blue to represent stability, trust, wisdom, and, most importantly, loyalty. So, as I walk through Lunaris, bathed in black, gold, and sky blue, I feel a sense of renewal, of change and pride. There are people setting up outside headquarters for the ceremony. Hunters and enforcers pour out of every room as I head down the corridor towards August's office, all of them with smiles plastered on their faces. I gently tap on the door and it immediately swings open. Piper is standing there, grinning at me, dressed in her new uniform. Whoa. Oh! Look at you go! Damn! Piper snorts and does a little spin, showing off. You like it? I step inside, closing the door behind me. You look amazing, General! Then I see August. Oh, shit. Oh my days! Holy shit, they look cool! Oh, they look amazing. Yes, I love that. They appear from behind their desk, and suddenly I feel both horrendously underdressed and hopelessly, maddeningly in love. Which, of course I am, but holy shit! I'm quick to make my way over to them. My mouth probably hanging open and catching flies, but I absolutely can't help it. You look incredible. Actually, there are no words that could accurately describe how you look. They grin, their cheeks turning pink as they set down the report they're holding. Thank you. I feel weird, almost like I don't deserve it. Piper groans behind me as she loudly falls into a chair. August glaring daggers at her when she puts her boots up onto the desk.
August, despite your many flaws, you're show-stoppingly gorgeous, and you know it. Let your lover tell you how beautiful you are so we can get on with this.
Hey, Piper knows what's up. Piper knows. She gestures wildly at the many sheets of paper that adorn their desk. They raise an accusatory brow at her. At least Camille hasn't swatted at my epaulets like a cat, I suppose. Piper snorts. Yeah, yet. Those things are begging for it. You have them too. She looks down at her shoulders, poking the silver tassels and looking thoroughly unimpressed. But they're not as fancy as yours. I clear my throat, trying to snap myself out of my little stupor and thinking how thankful I am that Piper is here. If she wasn't, we'd never make it on time, not with them looking like that. Right, yes, we should finish this thing. Before I step away to join Piper around the other side of the desk, August grabs me by the arm and tugs me near, flush against them. Ooh. They lower their voice, their blue eyes dragging over my form like a caress. You look incredible too, Lieutenant. Then they let go of me, as if they haven't just set my heart racing.
Come on, lovebirds. We don't have all year.
I steel myself and take a seat beside Piper. August leans over and pushes her boots off their desk with a raised brow before they lay out a set of papers in front of us.
We need to come to an agreement on all of this, and fast. I have an hour until my speech, and I'd quite like to not fuck it up.
Fair. Piper rests her elbows on her knees and her chin in her hands, and she squints down at the pages of elegant script.
You know exactly what I don't agree with. Everything else is fine.
August and I share a look. They seem upset over knowing what thing Piper disagrees with, and they know that I don't exactly feel much excitement over it either. I speak before they get the chance. Ooh, the initiation is essential. The initiation is barbaric. Ooh. That is... Oh, here's the thing. I don't necessarily disagree with, like, oh, we're gonna take in, you know, aspects of the creatures we hunt. It's the fact that it's so hush-hush. That's the thing. And, like, if everyone knew, if they could just tell everyone, hey, you've got to drink this blood, like, are you cool with that? Then it'd be fine. It's the secrecy. That isn't an option. I guess I'm gonna go with this. It is essential because humans can't face up to monsters. They need that potion, but it's the secrecy. I'm more drawn towards this one than it being essential. We cannot continue to mutate innocence. We need to find a new way to defend Escria. August glares at me, but I continue. Would I have known what they were doing to me, I would have refused.
August, I appreciate that you think it's necessary, and I know that doesn't come from a bad place, but...
I don't have the right. I could never understand how it feels. Witches are born with their magic. It is not inflicted upon them.
They sit in their chair and run their hand over their face, tapping their finger against their lips. If Harry could find a way to manipulate it, then we can find a way to as well. We both look at her like she's lost the plot. She huffs.
Oh, hush. You know what I mean. I'm not talking about making monsters. I'm talking about finding a way to make us strong without making us monsters.
How? Wouldn't they have already done that? Piper bursts out laughing. August finally stops tapping their lip and raises their brow at her.
You really think they'd do some actual work and research when they have what they need already? No way. They get free blood from the monsters they kill. And they get their little army of mini-monsters too.
She's right. There must be another way. Piper, clearly ready to violently refute whatever they say, sits slack-jawed. You agree with me? August shrugs.
I don't exactly thrill at the idea of all the extra work it would bring us. Me, specifically. But it would be worth it. Worth making sure that what we do is fair and ethical. Or at least as much as it can be under such extreme circumstances.
I agree. We are fighting a war and must do whatever we can to ensure our survival, but that doesn't mean we should sacrifice our humanity to do so. With that, August sits back down and pulls a clean piece of parchment from their drawer. They pick up their quill and begin to write. When they're finished, the three of us sign it, and a new rule is born. We will do whatever we can to leave behind the barbaric ways of our predecessors. Piper rubs her hands together almost greedily, and I'm beginning to think she's lying about not liking this diplomatic bullshit. She's good at it too. Now, our second task.
As the creatures, our relationship with them right now is perilous at best. Even the ones that bring no harm don't really like us that much. And they're more than essential to our survival as an agency that actually succeeds.
Can't blame them, really. Harry was out there kidnapping and killing even the good ones. Camille, what do you think? We need a stronger alliance. We must distance ourselves. No, ally! Ally with them! There's no question about it when it comes to our relationship with the creatures. We have to do everything we can to fix the fractures Harry caused. As you said, they're essential. Then I pause, carefully considering my next words. Have you ever thought about having creatures working within the agency? They both stare at me like I've lost my fucking mind, just as I expected them to. You're saying we should shove some Lycans and some demons in our uniform and off they pop? You're mental. August says nothing and just keeps staring at me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there are creatures out there who want peace just as much as we do. Creatures who have enough power to actually convince others of their kind to either join us or leave us alone. A representative, maybe. Not a new branch, just creature relations. Someone to be our liaison when required. Piper looks like her eyes are going to drop out of her skull. She has them so wide.
I cannot believe you're actually thinking about this.
It's a good idea! She doesn't sound angry, just tired. I get it. It's not ideal, I know. But if we can find other ways to lessen the attacks on our kind, then why the hell not? We just put strict rules in place and ensure that they have too much to lose if they betray us. August eyes Piper, who has fallen strangely silent. I think she knows that this will be good for us, despite her personal views on the matter. She nods. I'll sign. August offers her a small smile and picks up their quill. We all sign once again, ready to tackle our final conflict. Now we discuss you, both of you. Piper and I share a glance, and she sits a little straighter in her chair. I think that sometimes Piper truly does forget how important August is about to become.
Hunters have long been governed by us, the enforcers. I personally feel like that is unfair, because what the hell do we know about putting our lives on the line, right?
You know. They look at her, tilting their head in question.
You know, August, you've gotten your hands dirty more times than any of those other pencil pushers. I'll never have a better partner.
August's expression softens. They almost look like they might cry, or at least think about crying. I had no idea you felt that way. Piper scuffs her boots on the floor, looking anywhere but at August. Yeah, well, after everything that happened, I blocked it out. I'm sorry, Piper, about all of it.
I promise to do better by you, which is why I'm proposing that we create a new hierarchy. Or rearrange our current one, at least. Many enforcers aren't fit to dictate what higher-ranking hunters do. They're more concerned with politics than they are with the safety of our people.
Take those decisions out of the hands of those who value bureaucracy above all else, and into the hands of the ones who are literally created to know how to save lives? Within reason, yes. I will need to consider this a little more carefully. It's complicated, and I'll value both your inputs. Piper grins at me.
Can't believe it's taken the agency this long to realise it.
Yes, well, a fresh start. Now, we should go. They'll be waiting for us. August stands and fixes their uniform, fiddling with the end of their braid. They're nervous. I go to them and tug their hands away from their hair, lacing our fingers together and squeezing tightly. They squeeze back. You were made for this. Savor it. I just don't want to let anyone down. His shadow lingers over me. No, it doesn't. None of them know what he did, and they won't either. As far as they're concerned, this is the natural progression, and it is. Despite all that Harry did, it would still be you standing up there if he stood down gracefully. Piper creeps closer and rests her hand upon August's shoulder. Camille is right. You deserve this, and I can't imagine it being anyone else. August inhales, then exhales. They smile and release my hands. Let's go. It passes in a blur. I watch Piper get her title back, the highest-ranking hunter in Lunaris, after me. She smiles the whole time, staring out into the crowd as they cheer for her. She's given extra honours for her involvement in the Harry investigation. None of these people who clap and grin for us know what really happened, but they don't care. All they care is that they're safe. I step up to the podium and listen to August talk, but it feels like I'm underwater, like everything is muffled and far away. A few weeks ago, when I was told that I'd been offered this position, August pulled me aside and asked me if I wanted the responsibility, and I asked them, why me? I expected them to shrug and respond with, why not? But they didn't. They said that Harry targeted me for a reason, for my stats and my kill count, but August began to see from the moment we started working together that Harry had it all wrong. That I'm so much more than the strength I have and the lives I take, and that Harry never accounted for all of the human parts of me. That I'm determined, that I want to fight to survive even when the odds are stacked against me. That I am human above all else, despite the inhuman blood that runs through my veins. So, as August pins that badge to my coat and ties my sash around my waist, I remember those words, and I smile and wave at the gathered crowd, swearing to protect them no matter what. I see familiar faces out there. Finn, Ezra, Alcar, Raven and Lux. Even Edna left the wolf to grimace at me from afar. I've made Lunaris my home, somehow, after never really having one before. Before either of us can be swept away by the crowd of eager townsfolk, I quickly take August by the hand and usher them into a quiet corner just outside of headquarters. They sink back against the wall, melting against the stone. Thank the stars for you. I laugh, feeling as relieved as they look. You know what, I'ma grab that. Oh, they look so beautiful. May I steal you away, Lieutenant?
Absolutely. As scandalous as it might be, I'd rather not spend my evening shaking hands with people who loathed me only months ago.
But you have a pretty coat and an important name now. They grin, their brow rising.
I'm still your boss, you know. You can't sass me. Too much.
I shrug, taking their hand and lacing our fingers together. But I do enjoy it when you get annoyed. August rolls their eyes, but they lack any true exasperation. Come on, I want to do something normal. The second I placed a glass of imported red into August's hands, they became a different person. My person. The one I know from sitting in front of our fireplace at home, reading terrible, smutty romance novels and laughing until wine comes out of our noses. They're in their element out here amongst the colourful stalls and twinkling lights, and happiness looks good on them. As we walk and eye the goods on display, August nudges me with their shoulder, tilting their head and looking at me like I hung the moon. Thank you. This is nice. A little normalcy before the inevitable madness never hurts. They sigh, but they're still smiling. I'm excited to be busy again, especially now I sleep well. We come to a quiet corner where the crowd thins, a spot for sitting and talking, and August stops dead in their tracks, setting their glass aside. Again, they are so beautiful. I look at them sometimes and can't believe they're mine. I think about how far away they are from the overworked enforcer I met back in Ezra's shop all those months ago, and my heart soars. There are so many things I love about August, but the most important thing is how they've come to see how truly special they really are.
Can you believe this is Lunaris? Look at how happy everyone is.
They gesture to the smiling faces that surround us, and everything feels like it's fallen into place. They're free now. All of them, us too. A blush kisses their cheeks. From the cold or the wine, I'm not too sure, but it's stunning against their pale skin. I watch them take it all in, the warm glow from the lights that surround us making them shine. There are violets in their eyes when they look at me. Do it! I take their hand and step close, brushing my lips over their knuckles. They watch me with a raised brow, that trademark expression that others may see as smug or cold, but I know August's warmth. It seeps from their every pore, as fierce and as free as their magic. August is lightning, and they are mine.
Kiss me.
My heart! I don't hesitate. I find myself smiling somewhere between the soft curve of their mouth and the sweet press of their tongue. Their clever fingers curl in the front of my coat, and I swear that lightning flashes somewhere in the distance. My perfect storm. I've never had anything that felt as much as home as them. The end. There we go. That's the end of this. Oh, yeah. Round of applause. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we're just cutting straight to the main screen. Yeah. That was When the Night Comes. I had a lot of fun with this game. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the characters. The game was visually beautiful. I think the artwork was simply stunning for this. The few little critiques I could give. One, I did notice some spelling and grammatical errors, but like it's 10 chapters long. That's a lot of writing. I think that's rather understandable. I think the pacing could have been better. As I mentioned before, at one point in the game, they were like, oh, it's been months. And I was like, really? It just feels like it's been a week. The pacing wasn't so good. And my fiance did bring up, it's rather disappointing in a game that really kind of says like, oh, we believe in diversity and all of that. It is rather dissatisfying that there was only one lady love interest. For anyone who is interested in women, there was Piper and no one else. And also their body types are all very similar. They're all quite muscular and lean. It would have been nice to see some diversity in body types and, added more female presenting people in the cast as well. That would have been nice. I think those are all issues that have been addressed with, I'm sorry, my voice just cracked. I need a drink. Sadly I've drunk it all. Whoops. Yeah, I think that with the next game they've made, Call Me Under, I think it's kind of a Lovecraftian dating sim visual novel. It looks very interesting. They seem to have fixed that. The cast is a lot more evenly split with genders, and I've noticed that some characters are a little bit chubbier than others, so that's very good to see that they've improved on that. But yeah, those really would be the only critiques I could offer with this game. I really enjoyed my time with the main story of When the Night Comes. And we may have finished chapter 10, however, we are not finished quite yet because we have the mini stories. Possibly a chimera, probably a big fucking cat. Well, we will be getting started with that in the next episode. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.